Rushden High Street currently looks like a typical struggling high street. Many shops are shut and the high street is pretty empty. Some essential shops like the butchers remain open, but soon a 244-acre out-of-town shopping site will be built on the outskirts of Rushden. So I'm here at the site of Rushden Lakes. The site is currently just a pile of rubble, but soon it will be transformed into a £50 million shopping and leisure redevelopment. As well as shops including Marks and Spencer's, the site will have a boating lake and restaurants that overlook the lake, as well as canoes that you can hire. The site will have both shops and leisure facilities. A lot of Rushden Lakes will be run by the Wildlife Trust, who plans to create foot and cycle paths for their visitors, which will link up with their existing nature reserves. The site is expected to attract over 3 million visitors annually and create 2,000 jobs. LXB Retail Properties bought the site in May 2011 and it was granted planning permission in October 2012. The case was then called in by the Secretary of State for a planning inquiry. Many local councils, including Northampton, Kettering and Corby's councils, opposed the plans. They were concerned about the effect Rushden Lakes would have on their own town centres. I met with Tim Hadland from Northampton Borough Council to ask him what the council's thoughts are on Rushden Lakes.
When the application was first made, we realised it was going to have an effect on shopping throughout the area, and so we campaigned against the grant of that because it seemed to go against all known planning policies. But then the Minister decided to grant planning permission, and so we have to make the best of it. But we've got to make sure that we expand our offer to compete with that. As far as Northampton's concerned, we are a town. We're not an out-of-town bunch of sheds. So we have other attractions like theatres, leisure facilities and things like that to draw people into the town.
So I'm here to see Peter Bone today. Peter Bone is the MP for Wellingborough and Rushden and has campaigned extensively for Rushden Lakes to go ahead. What effects do you think this will bring to the local people, both in Rushden and Wellingborough?
Well, it will be a regional retail hub, so people from outside the immediate area will come in and shop and use the leisure facilities. I think there'll probably be 2,000 permanent jobs. It will be probably the centrepiece for Rushden and Hyde. I think one of the shops is likely to be Marks and Spencer's. Now, locally, if you want to go to Marks and Spencer's, you either have to go to Northampton or Milton Keynes. So it will be on the doorstep, something that people have had to travel to before. And of course the leisure facilities will link up with those in Stanwick Lake, and we'll have a fantastic area for walking and just generally relaxing. What tends to happen when you have these large retail leisure outlets is, of course, people who've come in perhaps from Peterborough will then come in and have a look at Rushden and use local shops. A lot of that we and Hyam, and there are a lot of niche shops and cafes. So I think it will create a lot more business for everyone. Going into the future, we're concentrating on attracting people into Northampton and not concentrating on what other people are doing.
One local resident, Teresa Tian, is worried about the effect Rushden Lakes will have on both her beauty business and the local area. I met with her to discuss these concerns.
I think it's going to be a good idea. I think it will benefit the area greatly. My concern is what the amount of traffic it's going to bring into the area. At the moment, with all the new house building going on, there is such an increased amount of traffic. Where's it all going to go? Well, as a mobile beautician, I rely on getting to places quickly between clients, and so with the increased traffic, I'm going to be stuck in traffic jams, possibly, and therefore be late to the clients, which isn't good for business. There's already a lot of beauticians in Rushden. There seems to be a new one opening up every week almost. So, if they were to build over at Rushden Lakes and open up even more, there's only a finite amount of beauty treatments that can be carried out in a week on people. So,
Edward Webber is the Reserves Officer for Rushden Lakes. He explained what plans the Wildlife Trust have for the area.
I'm the Wildlife Trust Reserves Officer for Rushden Lakes, which for us is a great opportunity to link together our existing reserves into one sort of single piece of managed nature reserve, which will run down from the bottom of Stanwick Lakes right through to Ditchford Lakes and Meadows. So it fits neatly like a jigsaw piece into our existing reserves.
Chris Tye, Group Operations Manager, runs the local swimming pool and gym for Aspirations Wellbeing. He spoke about the impact Rushden Lakes could have on the business.
With the local leisure trust for East Northamptonshire, We're currently operating three facilities within the district. So we've got Pemberton Centre and Splash Leisure Pool in Rushden, and the Nen Centre in Thrapston. Plus we do a lot of outreach work for community development where we support local small villages and towns with activities. This is something we're keeping an eye on because the details are quite vague at the moment in terms of what's actually going in the new developments, but we'll keep an eye on it. But usually if they put any leisure facilities in, they're quite small in hotel complexes and usually only cater for the guests, but we'll keep an eye on it and see how those developments go.
So on the site we've obviously got our new visitor centre which will be built more or less where we're standing, and on the nature reserve side we'll be protecting quite large areas of land both this side of the Nen and on the other side where it links much more closely with Irthing Lakes, and there'll also be a more of a country park style area around the old Skewbridge Ski Club lake, which will give people the opportunity to get out and into nature themselves and see what's there for them.
I think it's nice to see that people will have an opportunity to do more physical leisure activities in the local area, and we may be able to get involved with stuff sort of like Nordic walking or more to do with cycling on proper cycle paths that may help us to get involved in those sort of projects. I think the development could be quite good for the local area to keep people in the district and do activities where they're local and not have to travel to other districts within the county. The economy's quite tight for people nowadays, so if they can stay local, it's got to be best for them.
I think for local people, apart from the sort of direct benefit of having a new and much improved shopping opportunity, from the nature side of it, it'll be generally, first of all, greatly improved access to nature. What's now a derelict site will become quite a fruitful and healthy nature reserve. We work with Hadland Lakes quite a lot, but we certainly won't be competing. There'll be some things we do that are similar because that's our business. We're both about countryside and nature. But I think it's more about a question of emphasis, whereas Hadland Lakes is perhaps more about enjoyment and entertainment within nature. Our bit of it, the Wildlife Trust, is very much about nature first and giving people the opportunity to enjoy that improved nature. So perhaps we're more education and enjoyment, whereas Hadland Lakes is more about enjoyment and entertainment.
Normally there are numerous objections submitted to a development like this, but in this planning inquiry there was only 7 objections from the local residents. This report to the Secretary of State outlines the support and objections submitted to the inquiry, as well as detailed plans of the application. There were 30 responses from local residents, with 23 being in favour of the application. The main points of support included more jobs and more to do in the area. There were 7 objections to the application from local people. These objections included the impact the development would have on small businesses, and also concerns about the wildlife that have just re-established in the area. Local residents gave their opinion on what effect Rushden Lakes will have on the local area.
I think it'll be a very positive one. It'll bring lots of jobs to the area. I think it'll bring more people to the area as well.
I think it'll be a big bonus. It'll be good for me because I live in Higham Ferrers, so I can walk there. I already walk to Waitrose and Lidl's, so I think it'll be good. Northampton hasn't got much to offer, and I think it'll attract a lot of people this end.
Rushden suffered from the demise of the boot and shoe industry. It's now practically a dormitory town. The high street that we're in, as we know it, really has moved on, and a place like the Lakes, which is only sort of in keeping with other local shopping areas such as Riverside at Northampton, can't do anything but good, in my opinion anyway.
I think it would be fantastic for the local area. It would bring more people in. We wouldn't have to go to Northampton.
Personally, I think it'd be a good thing. Town could do with some development, some new money, and hopefully they'll improve the main road as well at the same time to make access all round better. So overall, I think it'd be a good thing for the town.
From what I have found, there is a lot of support from local residents for this development to continue. And although other councils are against this decision, they are all moving forward with their own plans. I'm Baldridge for U1 News.